We're live!
Hello!
All right, we had to down some food. And
do you feel like that?
Yeah, it's really one of those days, as you'll probably notice because we're both in black.
Yes. And we did not attend a funeral.
No.
We just ended up this way.
And when we both showed up, normally we're in color because I said color looks so much better. We should always be in color, but today we're just not feeling it.
We're in black and white today.
Yeah, so you want to start with the career change stuff, or you want to talk about the Christmas crisis thing that we've been talking about? What are you feeling?
Christmas crisis is what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And I'll let you take the lead on Christmas crisis.
So, Shannon and I were talking about this before because every year I love the holidays and I love getting ready for them and I always get excited for them, but it's also this, I get this pit in my stomach because it is so oh my gosh, I'm starting to cry.
This is a crying session.
This is a crying
We're both going down. Get Kleenex or get off.
It is just so hard for me.
Yeah.
It's so hard because I get so stressed out, dealing with the kids and making sure that everything's perfect for them, and you want them to have, these great memories, the holidays, and but, it is so stressful because, we both have full-time jobs. We both have all the stuff we're dealing with that. Yeah. Also, I think going through the divorce right before the holidays when I did that about 5 years ago, that always is such a hard thing for me because it's such a family time.
Right.
So
everybody's in their red and they're together and they're taking pictures and it's just a reminder. Everything's a reminder. Of course we're a family, but not a traditional family.
Right. So that's really, really hard. But I just have to remember, and I think this is a good lesson for all of us, just to make sure that we take care of ourselves. I know last night I had the kids and for whatever reason, I decided not to go to yoga. And then last night I had a meltdown and my kids had a meltdown. And I'm thinking, if I can just remember to really just take care of myself, it makes such a huge difference in this, especially this time of year.
Absolutely.
And like tonight, I got invited to a party, but I said, I'm not going to go because I really just want to take care of myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to be out late. I want to get to bed at a decent hour. I don't want to be drinking. So, it's about those kind of decisions you have to make right now for yourself.
And recognizing, I have to be honest, last Christmas I pushed so hard and have been recovering for a year, literally. When I kind of came out of it, I came out of my caffeine stupor is what I would call it, because I was pushing so hard to get all the presents and all the knickknacks and all the stocking stuffers and all the cards and the beautiful cards and thoughtful writing and so much that I literally came out of it and it was like, I haven't had a glass of water. Can't even talk about how long. It was just iced tea. Yeah, could you refill my iced tea? Can you refill? Because I need it, because I have to be able to go from 6 a.m. till about 1 every day. What? Who does this?
Who does
but
that?
We do. Moms do. I love the Christmas Bad Moms movie because it's true. We push so hard. And I think there's a time frame that maybe you can get away with it. Maybe when you're 32, you guys go right ahead. But I'll be 46 on the 19th, and let me tell you,
happy birthday.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
I know. You can do a lot of things in your 20s and your 30s that you can't do anymore in your 40s.
Miss Sam Kerrigan, you go right ahead. Welcome to our live, and you go right ahead and push yourself through the holidays. However, when you're this age, it doesn't
really
work.
Hard.
No, and so I'm still recovering. And so first of all, caffeine is not on deck anymore. So we're just drinking water these days and, trying to get rest and trying not to push and just asking yourself the question, how important is it? Right? Yeah. How important is it? Will this matter in a year or two? Is this going to be the thing that people end up in therapy over? Is this going to be devastating for my children if I don't have 8,000 ornaments on the tree
or gifts
under the tree, right? So figuring out how important is it, because I think we make it so much more important.
Yeah.
And I'd like to believe that my kids really are just glad that I'm here and we're sharing time. I mean, that's probably not true. But
Sam says she has the same birthday as you, the 19th.
That's
Did
right.
You know
Happy
that?
birthday, twin. I think I knew we were December, but I don't know if I remember
you're
the
both
19th.
the same day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's so important. And the other thing I did this year that I have not done in the past, because, you know, you have the divorce guilt. Mm-hmm. And yes, I'm glad that you're here. So the other thing that I've done this year that I think is really important is, you know, I after the divorce, there was a lot of guilt and there was a lot of buying every Christmas because you just want to make them make it all okay with gifts.
Divorced children.
Right.
These are divorced children.
Meanwhile, they're going to 3 different houses to get where Santa has visited.
30 gifts.
Right. So this year I just said to my kids, I was real honest. I said, guys, it's not going to be a Christmas like it has in the past. Mommy's trying to save some money and we're not going to have 10,000 gifts under the tree this year. You know, we're really going to just focus on, you know, one thing from Santa, one thing from mom, and then maybe some other little stuff. But I just wanted to let them know on the forefront that, you know, this is not going to be, you know,
you might want to
this
do
huge
a letter.
Extravagant Christmas.
You might want to do a letter from Santa telling them that his sleigh broke. That's what my mom did when things got tough. Because, you know, these kids today are smart and they kind of come up with like, what do you mean if it's one gift from Santa? Like, what is Santa like broke? What's the deal? So do a letter from Santa saying, listen, my sleigh broke. A lot of overhead this year, so I'm narrowing down, and then don't let them talk to any other kids.
I love it. That is actually a really
Isn't
good
it?
idea.
Because I was listening to you talk, I'm like, wait a minute, what are you going to tell him happened to Santa that he can't bring the same bag of crap he did last year?
Well, my 12-year-old, you know.
It's
not really her I'm worried about.
Right.
It's the 8-year-old.
A letter from Santa.
Okay, so anything else about Christmas crisis that you want to chat about?
Well, you cried, so I should probably. So the other thing that we deal with at Christmas, I don't know what it is. I haven't done the stats on this, but I feel like when you were starting to talk about, you know, how much you love the holidays, but how hard the holidays, and how, you know, with the highest high brings the deepest low. And so I think many of you out there are probably dealing with this. Like, I know my grandmother's death date was December 4th. You know, I went through my divorce, like, I think it was in November, you know, so like, it feels like a lot of grief and loss things happen around the holidays. And so if you've been through loss, then you have to, now the holidays symbolize this. And so now I kind of officially am being somewhat added to this club. I lost my grandmother on December 4th, like 13, 14 years ago. That was very, very hard then, but has, you know, gotten way easier. But I'm spending most of my days right now at hospice with the man who raised me when I was a little girl, my adopted dad. And it's been a very difficult relationship through the years, and we've been estranged for 5 years, and I got the call that he is now ready to connect while he's in hospice. So that's been very painful and very bittersweet is the perfect word. It is so delicious connecting with him and spending time with him and hearing everything I've ever wanted to hear, all the while knowing this will be the last time that I hear it. And it's kind of the first time that I'm hearing it, or the first time in many, many years. So for those of you that are burying people right now and spending time at the hospital or hospice, or celebrating the 1-year anniversary. I know my dear friend Todd, you know, lost his mom last 1 year ago, this time frame. So it's a very tender time, you know, for all of us. And I don't know that Facebook, you know, we try to get real on Facebook. So I don't know that Facebook's portraying that with everybody's pretty Christmas trees and fun sweaters. And so we want to just shout out to all of you that are suffering right now with the highest highs. It's the most wonderful time of the year, and the lowest lows, and just be gentle with yourself, you know, and be supportive to one another. I can't tell you how many times I've run into people shopping, standing in lines over the years that tears are just running down their face, and you smile at them and they just go, I lost my mom last week, or, you know, like life doesn't stop for the holidays, right. You know?
And they can bring up a lot of wounds that are very, very difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing, you know, I think that's why we really wanted to do this today, because we really are going to talk about career change, and I know a lot of people want to hear about the midlife career change and what you can do about that. But that, you know, that kind of plays into what we're doing today, because, you know, you still came down here today to do this, you know, even though you have a lot going on in your life. Yeah. She's had some health issues, and then dealing with this with her adopted dad. Yeah. So, anyway, so we're both wearing black. We're like, we're wearing black today.
We did not do this on purpose.
Right. So just be gentle with yourself, and, you know, give someone a smile, and maybe that person that you know has lost someone and is grieving, maybe give them a call. You know, I know my girlfriend Tina, she lost her mother, and she hates Christmas. Yeah. She literally hates Christmas, and she doesn't even want to put up a tree because she lost her mother, and it really is the hardest thing for her. And so I'm always very conscientious about that, to give her a call and make sure she knows that my door's always open. If she wants to come celebrate Christmas with me and the kids, or be here the night before, that she's always welcome. And so just really think about that if you have friends that are dealing with that kind of loss.
And that for some people, this is not a celebration time. It's a horrific memory time of big losses in their life. And the other thing is, just please keep it simple. You know, I noticed, I walked in Suzanne's house today. She has the most beautiful Christmas tree, and it is simple. You know, like my tree looks like an explosion of, you know, like everything but the kitchen sink. Right. And it doesn't, I'm like, oh, bows and a couple lights, like, and it's gorgeous.
I didn't even have the angel. You see the angel in the back. I didn't even have that. My mom sent that to me because she was like, "You need an angel on the top of your tree," and so she sent it to me.
It's so perfect, and it does. We can keep it simple.
A girlfriend just texted me this morning, my friend Lisa, and she said, you know, how are you doing right now? She's a single mom too. Yeah. She has 2 kids. And she said, I don't even feel like putting up decorations outside this year. I just don't know what's wrong with me. And I said, nothing's wrong with you. Yeah. You're a single mom with a full-time job, and you have enough on your plate. Don't even think about putting up decorations outside. I don't put up decorations outside. Yeah. You know, like, who has the time for that? Yeah. And then you got to take them down.
And for the 10 seconds, and then like when they're like 20, they'll say something like, "Oh, we never decorate," and you'll have to choke them to death. You know, like, you know, because they don't even, because it's not what matters. And I think that's what we do. You know, keep it simple. Focus on what matters. Yeah. Be honest. I love that you're honest with your kids, just saying. And so, you know, kids, if you're listening, it's what she said. I can't do it this year. Like, it's scaled way down, and we're all just doing the best we can. And hopefully by the time, you know, like, you're teaching your kids at a young age. You know, my kids are a little older, but, you know, letting them know, like, when they're 2 and 3, it's an explosion. But as they're 12, you know, helping them understand, like, we're blessed to have this and this. It doesn't have to be so, you know, it's about giving back. It's about what's the real value of Christmas. Nobody cares when they're 6. But when they're 12, that's when we do start teaching them what's important at Christmas time. And a quick Christmas story, this is probably horrible, but I still stand by it. We talked earlier on another video about triggers. And one of my huge triggers is I grew up dirt poor, right? And so you had 1 pair of shoes, and you were lucky to have it. And did I show this on the other video where I took them for Christmas? It was Christmas time.
No.
Okay, so I'm 46, so be gentle.
And you might have, but I don't think you did.
And we have dementia, so here's round 5. I'm telling you the same thing. But I was in the car with the kids, and Hannah, we were headed to do what our Christmas ritual was when the kids were little, is we would go to the Payless, right, where everything's $10, $20, whatever. But I would get like 5 pairs of shoes because, you know, it's Christmas time, and you got the red dress, and then you got the whatever dress, and then of course you want your sneakers, and so we buy 3 or 4 or 5 pairs of shoes, whatever, $10 a piece, $15 a piece. and I would make the kids pick out a pair of shoes for a child who didn't have them, right? And we would donate, whatever.
Right.
And so we're headed there, and Hannah's in the back seat. She's little. She's 6 or 7 tops. She goes, well, I want, and she starts rattling off her list. I want a red pair, and I want this pair. And, you know, as a mom, it's like those TV shows where they show the video of them, what they think they want to do, but they can't do it. And it's like, I'm picturing like, choking her to death because I'm triggered that I had one pair of shoes, you spoiled rotten brat, you know, kind of thing. And so I was so triggered by it. And so I spoke with the person I was dating someone at the time, and I said, help me, because what came over me, what washed over me was, Shannon, she doesn't know the difference. All she knows is that, you know, she gets 15 pairs of shoes all the time, and they show up. Like, she comes home from her dad's and there's like 5 new outfits on the bed. Like, oh, the delivery person came. She doesn't live in my world. She doesn't understand. So I said, well, I'm going to help them understand. So we went to Curry Park. If you have not been to Curry Park on Christmas morning, I think it was literally Christmas, 2 days before Christmas Eve, it's tons of homeless people. And they were passing out presents, one gift for one family, for one child, out of the back of a bus type thing. And people were wrapped around the building, just so thankful to get the one gift. And we walked through the homeless people, and I said to Hannah, do you see that gentleman has no shoes? None. And the guy I was dating at the time was a sweetheart, and he was walking behind me and handing them money as we passed and sticking it in their pockets and just trying to like do something little. But I realized my kids didn't understand that other people
they never lived it.
No, they didn't know that there were people that didn't have a pair of shoes. And I will never forget that day, and it was profound. And of course they're little, so they're kind of like, oh, his feet are dirty. And Matt and I are trying sobbing, to explain, right? We're sobbing, and the kids are like, well, his toenails are long. But they did get it. They did get it. And I know even Hannah, being a little older, she did. Matter of fact, that may have been kind of a shifting point for her, because she now is the kid that gives too much.
Right.
But it was powerful. So this is the time to pass on your value system, you know, to them. And I just want to acknowledge Steve's struggling. It's all for his 1-year-old granddaughter this year. And so hang in there, Steve. And the grandchildren do kind of give you a renewed but it's hard time.
Yeah, it is a hard time. Yeah, and I love that, because, you know, you try to tell your kids that, you know, don't be so selfish, and you don't understand what other people don't have in this world, that you are very lucky to have what you have. But I think when you can show it to them instead of just telling it to them, it makes a huge difference. You know, and it's just like me, you know, when you see something other than people just telling you what it's like, when you see it firsthand, it sure does make a huge difference about how it impacts you and what you think about that situation.
Absolutely.
All right, so that was a little raw and real, and I just, you know, we want everyone to just remember that, you know, be gentle with yourself this holiday season. We know that a lot of people are struggling emotionally, financially, and so just, you know, do what you can do, and it is okay.
Yeah, do what you can, and do not, please, put yourself in debt. Put yourself, you know, do the small things that you can, and that's what makes the difference.
So we also wanted to tackle something that
total change here.
Total change. Hi. We wanted to tackle something that someone had asked us to talk about, which was a midlife career change. I think a lot of people really, once they get into their maybe 40s or 50s, even 60s, think, I can't make this huge change. You know, it's just, I am in the career that I'm in, or am in the job that I'm in, and that's just the way it is. But I don't believe that. I think you can make a change at any point in your life. I mean, my mom is in her 70s, and I know she never thought that, you know, she would find love again. My father got divorced, and she really never believed that. Well, she has found love in her 70s. So, you know, it just goes to show you that, you know, your life is not over, you know, midlife. You're midlife, you know, you have a lot of time. So I wanted to kind of tackle that because I've really been feeling like this is something that a lot of people really want to do, and they just don't know how to do it. And one of the biggest arguments that I hear from people on this kind of stuff is that I'm too busy. And that really burns my butt when people say they are too busy.
This girl gets up at 2 a.m.
You know, here's the thing, because you might be busy, and a lot of people are busy, but it's not a priority. So let's say what it really is all about. So it's either a priority for you or it is not a priority. And if it's not a priority for you, that's okay. If you're not ready for this, that's okay. But don't use I'm too busy as an excuse, because you know, I wake up at 2 a.m. I have 2 kids. I have a full-time job. And still, I found the time to do this show on the side because it's a priority. I really wanted to do it. And you're the same way. You're a busy mom who has a full practice that's very busy. And she still finds time to do this on the side.
But, you know, can I comment on that?
Yeah.
Is that okay to interrupt?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So, but I do want to say sometimes it's about the overwhelm. I agree with you. You do not have time to completely design a new career and do all of that today. However, my favorite expression is, how do we eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So I love what Suzanne is saying. You do have to prioritize it. However, we did start with a podcast. We did start smaller. We did take little bites and hits and misses, and
that's, you know, that's my first thing is to be practical and to, you know, and to do something that you already have a skill in. You know, I think a lot of people think, well, I got to completely change what I'm doing. I mean, if you're not good at math, you shouldn't be like thinking about being an accountant. I'm just saying, you know, I mean, it was a natural progression for me. I'm on TV. That's what I do for a living. So doing a show was not that far off from what I do. You know, you do a segment on TV. You're a therapist. So it's not that far off for you to say, I'm going to start doing a show where it helps people. So really think about what you're already good at and what skills you already have. Don't reinvent the wheel. You know?
Absolutely. And thinking, and you remind me to get back to Renee, because I'm a little distracted by these comments. And I want to get back to you, Renee.
Well, go ahead and get to Renee, and we'll talk.
Well, see, then I go crazy, and I can't remember the last thing that I was going to say. So she was saying, don't reinvent the wheel. So when it comes to making those changes, at the end of the day, you need to do one piece at a time. So say you decide you want to be a nurse, and you're in whatever business, then today you research coursework. And then you realize, oh crap, I need to get my transcripts. So just tomorrow you file for your transcripts. And then the next day you start working on your resume stuff and figuring out what you need as far as classes. And then you work on financial aid. You do 15 minutes a day. That's it. And then one thing at a time.
So, you know, don't binge watch Stranger Things on Netflix for one day. Or you know, or don't scroll through your Facebook feed for an hour one day. Instead, take that time, 15 minutes or a half an hour, an hour, whatever you have, and really focus on that. You know, the other thing that a lot of people, oh shoot, I just lost my train of thought. Of course, I just lost my train of thought.
It's live and we're old.
Oh, the other thing I was going to say is, you know, a lot of people just don't know where to start. And what I would say, and what I did, which I think is, which was very helpful because it kind of gave me that push, was just create your own business. Start your own business. It's really easy to do. It's just a couple of filings that you can do. And once you have that name, you know, mine's Suzanne Boyd Productions. But once you have that, like, it gives you that kind of push to think, what am I going to do with this? You know?
So tell them specifically what you mean. So you're talking about incorporating, which is a corporate document. Pick a name. Pick, like, if you're going to have a website, be sure and check that. What is it called?
I go to GoDaddy.com for websites, and you can go on there and search and what names are used and what are. Glenn says I love Stranger Things, but I go on there and you can search GoDaddy.com and see if a website is already taken, and maybe you come up with a different name. What I did was I met with there's an organization at Palm Beach State College. If you're in this area, Palm Beach State College is a great resource. There is a organization associated with Palm Beach State College called SB, Small Business something.
Right.
And I can find out the name for you and post in the comments here. But what they do is absolutely free. They tell you step by step how to create your own business. I met with this woman for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. Wow. She gave me the steps. She told me the links to go to. It was super easy. She told me how much it was going to cost to file this and do that. So I kind of knew the cost up front. It's not that expensive, but you do need a little bit of money to file.
Right.
And so that was a really, really helpful thing because I had no idea. I didn't even know where to start.
Right.
And that's a good place for you to kind of start. And if you don't live in this area, then you can contact your local community college. I'm sure they have something similar.
And I'm going to take this on a right tangent. That's just, to me, there's always a spiritual side to any endeavor. So when we're talking about the first things that you can do, taking little bite-sized pieces, I think the first thing you have to do is claim it. Spiritually, I'm going to have a new career. And my favorite thing, and you can tell me all the authors, she's my resource.
Yes, I'm the self-help book guru.
Yeah, I haven't read a book in 18 years. I mean, we're like a match
I've read
made in
10,000.
heaven. Yeah, we're perfection here. So, but the secret, the concept of the secret and manifesting.
Rhonda Byrne.
Thank you. Ding, she just
BYRNE.
So the secret talks about manifesting your dreams. So before you even contact Palm Beach State, before you even find out about trademarking or websites, sitting down with a poster board, especially if you have kids, get a bunch of magazines and let them make their own little poster boards. You put your picture in the center, and then you put words or pictures that symbolize what you are trying to obtain in your life, what you are trying to get, what your goal is, what your dreams are. And so if you're going to change, you're going to be a nurse, pictures of a hospital, picture of the OBGYN office that you want to work in 5 years. Put all that out in the universe. And I'm telling you, not that you can call me next week and tell me, but I'm telling you what you're going to see happen is then in your life, things are going to show up. Like people are going to say, oh God, there's a great nursing course at such and such. You said, what? Yeah. What school is that? Oh yeah, you got to check into it. The information will start showing up. And also when you do that manifesto, you also need to put it out in the world. You'd be amazed. Think about this. As a single mom, I remember when I couldn't find a babysitter and finally I thought, you know what? There's a spiritual way to do this. I told everybody in my world, everybody, every client, every person I had. And the next thing you know, someone's like, hey, did you know so-and-so's gone back to school and they need a little part-time job? And there it was. I didn't even have to look.
Yeah.
So intention.
Put it out there.
Put it out there.
Yeah.
Put it on paper.
Right. And start talking to people. The same thing just recently happened to me. I had a $900 water bill. $900 water bill. And so I, started talking to people about what this could be. I even put a little post on Facebook saying, I just got a $900 water bill. I think I have a leak. Any recommendations? I was bombarded with people saying, this might be what it is. This might be what it is. Here's a great plumber that you can contact. I had so many people helping me and helping me to figure out what's causing this. When you put stuff out there, you will be amazed about what comes back to help you.
Yes, it's fascinating. I have to respond to Renee because you're just pulling on my heartstrings so much, sweetheart. So she says she's struggling. She's so sad. She has a great life. She has a great husband. She's so blessed. And yet she is just having such a struggle. So, again, I just want to validate, this is a very, grief is linked, grief and loss is linked. So if you have any grief or loss that's occurred in this time frame, or if you have anything that's occurring right now, it's going to bring up every other grief and loss in your entire life. So be aware of that, number one. Number two, seasonal affect. Google this, seasonal affect disorder. People that do great June, July, August get hit October, November, December, if they have a depression that runs in the family sometimes, or even the reduction of light is what seasonal affect. So sometimes people have depression and they do okay, but then when it hits November and the time change, they're really struggling. And that's because of sometimes seasonal affective. And I will tell you, I personally had it, and I went on an antidepressant for 7 years because every winter I was just struggling. I was sad, I was struggling, and for me, I was exhausted. I did not want to get out of my PJs, and when I got home at 5 or 6, my PJs went on, and I wasn't, I just didn't want to function. So I went, and they diagnosed me with seasonal affective. So be aware.
So should she go see someone? Or?
Well, recognize, number one, if you've got some grieving going on, give yourself some time. I wouldn't get on an antidepressant right now per se, because I know I'm in tremendous grief and there's a window on that, and I'm going to let myself feel that. But if this has been your pattern, if you're listening to this and you go, oh my gosh, this happened last year. I do this every year.
December.
Every October,
right.
yeah. And you do it until February, March. That's what's possibly happening. So if that's the case, do check into, you're so welcome, love. Do check into, a psychiatrist, even your OBGYN, somebody who knows you well, and you might need just a small amount just for this time of year.
Yeah.
Because it can be real. So look up those symptoms. And if you're resonating with that, please take care of yourself.
She said grieving. She's grieving. So yeah, it must be something. It's something related to loss. So
Yeah.
we talked about that at the beginning. If you're just joining us, Renee, that, a lot of this time of year, it brings up those losses that you feel even more intensely.
So please get back. If you don't have a therapist, check into having a therapist. Get back to that right now to get that support.
We're going to tackle how to find a therapist coming up in a future episode. So make sure you stick around, because we're going to do that coming up in a future episode. And we can also message you, Renee, if you need help with that as well. Okay, so back to midlife career change, because we were also talking about that. And the other thing I want to tell people, which I think is very profound, and I listen to podcasts on my way into work every morning, and I love this guy, Gary Vaynerchuk. He does the Gary V audio experience. If you're looking for a good podcast and you're trying to figure out if you want to make a career change, and he's so inspirational. He's an entrepreneur. He started this VaynerMedia company, but he's also a speaker, and he is a big social person, social media person. But he talks about you don't need permission. You don't need permission. And I think so many people are waiting for someone to give them permission to make a change.
Right.
And you don't need permission. You can make a change in your life. You don't need someone to tell you it's okay. And I think a lot of people have that fear of, well, is it okay for me to do that?
Or even the concept that you're supposed to be in one career your whole life. I invite everybody to make a paradigm shift right now. Some of us, there are people living to 100 years old right now. Are you kidding me? I am not doing one job for 100 years.
Right.
You're out of your mind. It ain't happening, right?
Right.
So if if we're living to 90 years old, why wouldn't you have 2 or 3 careers? I know my mom started out in the restaurant hotel business, and then now she's a therapist, 2 totally different, she made people feel better back then, and now she makes people feel better in her office, right? So, but completely different paths. My adopted dad that I was talking about earlier, he was in the restaurant business as well, and then he became a postal worker. And it's so cool. People, can blend these more maybe fun careers where there's not as much security, and then you go into postal work and you've got pension and retirement and all this stuff. So you can do different things. So maybe just making a decision today that you don't have to have one plan your whole life, that you can have 2 careers in your lifetime or 3 careers in your lifetime, and that might help, that might help give you permission to start thinking.
Lauren says her parents just changed careers. They're 61 and 62. She says
that.
It's never too late. Lauren, our meteorologist at the
Oh,
station.
I love that. And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, hey, Ashley. And the other thing I want to say about that is, if I had a dime for every person in my office who said to me this statement, well, I'm 45. If I go back to law school, I'll be 52 when I get out. And who wants to practice law and start practicing law at 52? Well, my answer always to them is, newsflash, you're going to be 52.
Still.
With nothing.
Right. You may as well start now.
Is there a problem with being 52 and having an amazing degree at that point?
Right.
So a lot of people say that, and then they go, oh,
That's a good point.
Good point. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna be here anyway, so why not accomplish something? And I've really worked with a lot of people on this, a lot of clients that they're 35, 40, and they never did go to college, they didn't get a chance, and they're going back now. And you guys know who you are, and I'm so stinking proud of you. And they're getting their degrees now, and they're sending me messages, and they're saying, I'm getting my master's, and they started with a GED or with a high school diploma, and they never thought they could go to school. And I'm like, why not? You know? So it's never too late.
And the other thing is, you don't have to quit your job, Renee says, permission is what I need. I am an outspoken person with fear. Amazing words. Yes. You don't need permission. We're giving you permission, yes, Renee. The other thing is, you don't have to quit your job. You don't have to quit your day job. No. I think so. Here's the thing. We are in such an amazing time right now. Think about it when we were in college or when we were younger. There were no cell phones. There was no internet. In this day and age, people don't know how lucky they are with the opportunities you have. You can do a side job from 7 p.m. until midnight.
We're doing it right now.
Right, or on the weekends because of this, because of the internet, because of social media. You have opportunities that you never had before. And so I think a lot of people, really get stuck in this, well, what am I supposed to do that after my job? Well, yes, you have so many opportunities now. Just start doing it. There's if you make beautiful things, there's so many websites like Etsy
is awesome,
and even eBay that you can put stuff up there and start selling it. Just create an Etsy account. If you make jewelry or whatever you do, just start doing it. Create an Instagram page, create a Facebook page with your jewelry designs, and start showing it to people.
And I just heard in my head, I heard you guys through the Facebook, I heard you say, yeah, but you don't understand. If I do an Etsy page and I only have 3 things, Suzanne, to sell, you don't understand. If I do a website, I don't even have any material. We started this website, we had no videos.
Nothing.
Now this is the 12th, right? Everything works like that. You don't have to do it perfect. Watch our perfectionism video. It doesn't have to be perfect. You start and then it builds on itself. Because so many of us want the whole picture before we start. It doesn't work that way.
No. Renee says she always wanted to be a lawyer or a writer. Okay,
well, so start.
So start Googling law schools. I mean, is that something you really want to do? Do you want to go to law school? If you want to be a writer, start a blog. It's so easy.
Perfect.
Just start a blog and start writing.
Or sit 1 hour a day or 30 minutes a day. Because here's what we do. We go, I don't have time to write because if I sit I don't have 3 hours, and you really need 3 hours. No, you don't. What you need is 20 minutes because I love to write, and when I get into writing, that 20 minutes can turn into an hour and a half, and you'll find a way. So just make yourself sit down every day, certain amount of time, and dedicate to the writing, and then at some point it will grow.
It grows. It starts to multiply, and you will be so surprised at how it just, like this show that we started, it has taken off like we never expected because we just started with one. You just need one. So just start doing something, whatever that is. And Renee, I would say just start writing. Just start with a blog.
And you know what, Renee? I know you're going to say, no, write about your sadness. You know how many people out there are sad right now? Write a blog about your sadness and just have that, excuse me, as an avenue, and you will be surprised what it will turn into, and it will probably make you feel better because you're getting it out of your body, and there will be so many people that can relate to you.
The other thing that I wanted to mention is, a lot of people say, I don't know how. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to create a Facebook page, or I don't know how to start a blog. There is this beautiful thing. It's called the internet. You can Google and YouTube just about anything, and it will tell you step by step, super simple ways. If you want to, how do I start a free blog? It will tell you step by step how to do it. You can watch a YouTube video, how do I start a free blog? And it will run you through the steps, step by step. So, don't be afraid to just figure it out yourself, because I know you can. You know.
But this attitude is a big and I
thing.
always go back to that concept of the secret of manifesting, of what you tell yourself. You know, Suzanne's here to tell you you can do it. But you have to tell yourself, I can do it. I've always wanted to go back to law school. I can go back to law school if I want, right? Like, you have to be able to use language that supports moving forward. I don't know. I mean, picture this visual. I can't move forward at the same time as I'm pushing myself back. So it's like, I want to be a lawyer. Yeah, but you're stupid. So, I mean, come on. You're not going to move forward when every time you're getting ready to move forward, something pushes you back, and that something is you. You are your greatest own worst enemy. So if you want to do something, change your language. I got confronted on this years ago, and I was highly offended. My supervisor was like, God, you're aware of your language that you use? You know, like, I remember years ago, I called my husband, I go, we have a crisis. And he goes, oh God, are the kids okay? And I'm like, well, yeah, no, but we overdrafted our account. You know, and he's like, that's not a crisis, you know? Right. So be aware of your language, you know, oh, I can't, you know, it's too much.
You know, what drives me crazy is my kids say I'm stupid, or or when people say I'm stupid, I'm like, no, you are not. Do not even say that to yourself.
Yeah, because yourself will believe it. Right. You need your brain to be working with you on these adventures. So you have to send your brain the right messages. I can do it. When I wake up feeling crappy, I start right away. I feel good. I feel good. I feel good. I'm going to feel much better as soon as I eat breakfast. I start letting my brain know, listen, dude, you better get on board, because this is the direction we're headed. I'm not staying over here. I might be here right this second, but we're moving somewhere else.
You know, and the other thing is journaling and writing stuff down. It will really help you. You know, the mantras. I use the mantras. I am brave, you know,
yes,
I am, you know, those mantras, you just want to write them down. If you don't know what you want to do, start writing down. Just pose the question to yourself and just let yourself write, and you will be surprised what ends up on the paper. Do not edit yourself. Just let yourself write. But also end everything with a mantra. I am brave. I have no fear. You know, I am
strong. I am strong. Capable.
I'm capable.
Yes.
You know, I am a writer. You know, whatever it is that you want to do, you have to reinforce that with your language.
When people decide to quit smoking, a lot of times they teach to say, I'm a non-smoker. You know, to say that, even as you're getting ready to light a cigarette, I am a non-smoker. Because at some point your brain will be like, this is really incongruent because you're lighting a cigarette, but you're a non-smoker. And so you'll put the cigarette down. I came up with something recently that I want to start that's along the writing terms, something called a worry journal. And I decided recently that I worry a lot, and it's almost completely unfounded. So what I'm going to do is a worry journal, and I'm going to go back to my earliest worry that I've ever had, and I'm going to write the worry, and then I'm going to write the outcome. So that I can see that when I was worried that I would never be able to afford college, that I could say, oh, Hannah's just got through her first semester of college. Right. And that, you know, everything that I worried about, that I would never be able to buy my kids a car, well, she'll be driving home in a few days. You know, like all the things that I was so worried about, how they resolved, so that I can start to see the miracles and see the manifestations. So I'm going to call it my worry journal.
I love that. All right. Any other questions? Renee says, oh, let's see. Renee says, I'm married to a man that has an amazing career. I'm just a cosmetologist. Don't say you're just a cosmetologist.
Language! Flag on the play, Renee! Flag on the play! Bad language! You are a cosmetologist. And let me tell you,
that right now, like,
favorite people.
Is that something you're passionate about, Renee? I mean, if it is, why don't you start writing about that, you know, or creating videos showing people, you know, how to care for their skin, or how to put on makeup, or, you know, that kind of stuff. People love that kind of stuff. So if that's really what you're good at, and you love it, and you want to be passionate, you know, maybe that's something you can start writing about. If the emotions and the grief feels a little bit too raw, and maybe you don't feel like writing about that, maybe it's something, you know, a little bit lighter, and you can write about cosmetology, or
there's a million options.
There's a million options.
My best friend from high school blows me away. She she's just a cosmetologist who just had this brilliant idea that if you have a storefront and you put a little bit of product in the front of the store and maybe have 1 or 2 hair sinks in the back, that it might turn into something. Well, today it morphed into, now it's the beauty boutique. It was beauty to go for a while. Now it's the beauty boutique. It's like a Sally's hair supply now. Wow. You walk in, you can get jewelry, you can get your teeth done white, you can get gorgeous clothing, every hair product because they're licensed. So every single hair product you'd ever dream of. And in the back now there's like 10 shampoo sets and whatever, and she owns all of it. She's just a cosmetologist, and I'll tell you what, she's doing way better than I am. And you know, so whatever you're passionate about, that's what you were saying. What's your passion? And if you're passionate, find every inroad to make it bigger. You know, do trainings, do hair shows. I mean, anything we do, if you're passionate. But we got to erase that because I'm a cosmetologist and I'm an exceptional cosmetologist, right? My friend that I'm talking about, she saves me. I mean, she's my personal therapist, you know?
I mean, just think outside the box. I mean, think outside the box of what are your friends talking about? What do your friends need? Or how can you save people time? How can you save people money?
Invent something. Every time I walk into that beauty boutique, I buy some off the beaten path. I just bought a hair scrunchie that is made of plastic and it's in...
Oh, I've seen that. I'm like, why didn't I think of that?
Love this thing. And it doesn't put kink marks in your hair so that on my way here I can wear it up. But when I get here, I can take it down and it doesn't have those marks in it from the hairband. This is brilliant. If you're a cosmetologist, that's something brilliant. It's amazing, right? Just use your creativity.
Use your creativity, and you don't need to think, too crazy. It can just be something simple. She says she knows that place.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I love it. All right. Anything else that we want to talk about?
I don't know. We've laughed, we've cried, we've taken you on,
Yeah, I think, the biggest thing is just believe it and it will happen. Believe it, really believe it, and just take that first step. That's it. You'll be amazed at how it snowballs.
And put it out there. Put it out to the world. What you want, what you need, put it out to the world, right? And we eat elephants one bite at a time.
And don't binge watch Stranger Things on Netflix.
Or the Kimmy Schmidt, which is so weird, and yet I can't turn it off.
Spend that time researching or Googling or something that you really are passionate about and that you want to do. And don't forget to check in with your local community college. Palm Beach State College, as I mentioned, has that special small business help organization that will give you free advice on how to start your own business, and they will get it off the ground like that. I'm telling you, it's amazing. And you know what? I'm going to leave in the comments once we stop this the link for that, so I'll make it easy for you.
And mantras: be brave.
Yes.
I am brave. I stole her brave thing. It has saved me on more than one occasion.
I am
brave. Really
scared. I use it in my passwords. So every day you type in to get onto your computer, you remind yourself of your mantra. That's also a good thing. Don't worry, mine's not be brave. I didn't just give away.
I was going to say that was kind of scary. My hubby is graduating as a nurse practitioner at 49. I love it, Sarah. Love it.
That's awesome, Sarah.
The best therapist I've ever had. Well, I can't say that because I have so many great people in my life, but one of the best therapists I've ever had in my life was 85 years old at University of Florida, and she walked like the woman from Poltergeist. I'm aging myself, but the lady that did the swashy thing, she was about 4 feet tall and 4 feet wide, and she was 85, and she profoundly impacted my life, and she had just graduated 2 years earlier with her doctorate. Beat that. It's amazing.
That is amazing.
Amazing.
I hope I'm doing that when I'm
I know.
And at least walking. All right. And don't forget to share these videos. Really, that is the best compliment you can give us, to like our videos, to like our page, and to share our videos with anyone who you think might need them. And we are going to, as long as we don't get screwed by the technical issues. I just said it.
There. You said it live.
Technical issues are BS. As long as we don't get screwed by the technical issues, which we did last week, so I apologize for that. We're going to be posting a video once a day, or once a week. Sorry,
once
a week.
Every
Saturday. once a day eventually, hopefully, if we can get to that. But right now it's once a week.
Yes.
Just want to say that my wife loves to watch you guys. Thanks, Ricardo.
Thanks so much.
Mwah. All right, you guys have a great day. Be gentle with yourselves through the holidays. We know it's hard. And we'll see you back here next week. Thank you all. Leave us a comment if you have any questions. Bye.